Pnawn Tha, and a very warm welcome back everybody to Match Day Live as Wrexham return to Sky Bet Championship action this afternoon after the fun and frolics of the penalty shootout victory last Friday night against Nottingham Forest. It's all eyes back on the league campaign this afternoon as struggling Norwich City make the long schlep west to North Wales. Phil Parkinson's side on a stellar run at the moment of 4 straight victories. Can they make it 5 in a row in the league with victory over the Canaries this afternoon? Andy Morrell and Mia Roberts are, I think, sufficiently recovered from last Friday night. We'll come to that a little bit later on in the show, but lovely as ever to see you both today. Norwich City, Andy, a team who've struggled this season, and Wrexham have already beaten, of course, earlier in the campaign. On paper, this is looking like a game that Wrexham will be strong favourites in, but often things don't play out like that.
Yeah, absolutely, and we know this league quite well by now that anything can happen, and these are the games historically when you're doing well. These are the ones that you just take your eye off the ball a little bit and you just don't concentrate, you don't focus the same as you were doing beforehand, and you get undone a little bit. So I'm sure Phil Parkinson straight away after the Forest game has gone, make sure you focus, we go again, little weekend off, back in training, we're fully focused for Norwich because that's a big game, because if we can go 5, puts us right in the mix then.
Amir, of course, this afternoon, Wrexham up against a Forest team managed by a different man in the dugout than we saw at Carrow Road. No longer Liam Manning. This is Belgian Philippe Clement's side. So what sort of opposition are you anticipating Phil Parkinson having to try and navigate today?
Yeah, he certainly shifted a few things around. You know, one being the main thing probably being from my point of view is moving back to that back 4, which, you know, Liam Manning tried to change it to that back 3/5, and it just wasn't working. It didn't suit the players here at Norwich at all, and they really suffered from that, especially at home, as obviously we'll speak about on the show today. But you know, it looks like he is starting to turn things around here at Norwich. I think, you know, I think they should be safe, but I agree with Andy. I think today is one of those. It could be a potential sort of banana skin. I think there'll be a number of fans, like you say, coming in, you know, probably more nervous about the Tuesday night rather than the Saturday. And I think, you know what, we need to be right up for it again today, because it's not an easy match.
Let's have a quick look at the Wrexham team named by Phil Parkinson, who's about to come and join us live on Matchday Live. 4 changes from the gaffer this afternoon. Max Cleworth, fresh from signing his new contract, comes in for Dan Scarr at centre-back. There's a welcome return for Issa Kabore at right wing-back. George Thomason's back in place of Libby Kakachi, who, of course, played in the Cup victory on penalties. And Josh Windass is preferred to Ollie Rathbone, who's on the bench. Kiefer Moore also making a return to the bench this afternoon. Phil, good to see you. Thanks for joining us as ever on Matchday Live. We were just discussing your selection this afternoon. Perhaps we can start with Issa Kabore's return for Ryan Longman, who doesn't make the squad.
Yes, Longy, slight problem with his ankle. Expect him fit for Tuesday, and Issa comes back in.
And George Thomason, having had that excellent run over Christmas, preferred to Libby Kakachi. What's the thinking there? Yeah,
I think George's performances over Christmas were excellent, and we've got 3 games in 7 days coming up, so I felt it was right to start with George today.
Max Cleworth comes in back at centre-back. Phil, obviously been a busy 24 hours for Max, signing that new contract until 2029. Fantastic news for him, for the club and the supporters. You gave him his debut, of course, against Solihull Moors back in 2021. When you sent him out that afternoon, what did you think you saw in him as a player that made you take such a brave call?
Yeah, I think obviously he's had the physicality to deal with first team football at that young age, and yeah, it was kind of at that early period we thought, well, if we don't throw him in now, when we were kind of building the squad and we kind of weren't where we needed to be, when is he going to get a chance? And we gave him the opportunity, and sometimes, you know, those decisions can work in your favour in the long term, because if he hadn't got a chance then, you know, may have gone quite a way down the road before he'd got an opportunity, but straight away you could see, you know, he has real qualities, and I think it's a unique story, Max's journey with this club, coming up all through the divisions, and it really is, and we're very pleased to you know, have agreed a new deal with him.
A week on from the Cup fun. Has it been a challenge to get the players back down to earth into league thought, or is that just all part of being a pro?
Well, I think every game's a big game at this level, so it's not a kind of a motivational thing. Yeah, we had the 2 days off after the game Friday. We've had a couple of niggles. Scary and Rathbone haven't trained this week up to Friday, so that was really the reason for those two. But they're both fine, but just kind of almost pure fatigue injuries for both of them. Had them scanned, nothing serious, but it took them till Friday to really get themselves ready for selection. So we've kept those two on the bench. Yeah, I think there's a good focus about the group. We've trained well. We spoke to the lads yesterday about, we've had a lot of praise from the Forest game, but now understanding what we've been doing well, and some of the football has been really good, but the effort, the competitive edge, the intensity we've created here at the Stoke-Harris Stadium has also been a standout for us, and we're looking to reproduce that today.
Earlier in the season, of course, you went across to Carrow Road and returned with an excellent 3 points. Different manager, though, for you to face today than it was Liam Manning then, Philippe Clement today. What are you expecting to be different about how Forest perhaps set up from that game earlier this season?
Yeah, I think a lot of similarities, really, the way they play. Probably a little bit stronger in the middle of the pitch in terms of the personnel. And I think, the reason they've had an improvement, obviously Philippe's done well, but also a bit like ourselves, a lot of the new players have probably settled into their new environment. So, listen, we know Norwich are a good team. They're a team who are expected to be up there at the start of the season. They're not, but we've got to be ruthless today. It's as simple as that. It's a really, really tough game for us, like every game is, but it's one I feel we've prepared well for, and we're going to go all out again to keep our run going.
Well, Phil, here's hoping that run does keep going. Hopefully we'll catch up with you post-match today. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
For joining us on Matchday Live. Phil Parkinson, Wrexham manager, looking forward ahead of today's match against Norwich City. As Phil mentions, there are no easy matches in the Championship, and Norwich fighting for their lives in the bottom part of the table. We'll have a full look at the table shortly, but Mia, I think unsurprisingly, Phil taking a pragmatic approach to the game today. Of the alterations that he's made, any of those a surprise to you?
Maybe Kabore, just because obviously hasn't played much at all in the last few weeks. Last appearance for Wrexham was back against Charlton back at early weeks of November, and obviously AFCON, he's been over there but only played 20 minutes in Burkina Faso's last game against Ivory Coast, in which they got knocked out. So maybe a little bit of a surprise, but obviously got back. I think he got back the day before the Forest game, or around then, and then has obviously had a week or so, and must have passed a few tests, and obviously pleased a few with what he's done since he's come back. And I think maybe someone like Ryan Barnett will maybe be a bit frustrated by that, but Phil Parkinson has to pick who's there and who's doing as well as they can in training. But I think apart from that, I was thinking, does Kiefer Moore come back in today? But these are the good problems that Phil Parkinson has. Like he says there, he's now got that option to maybe give Longman a rest, doesn't have to force Ollie Rathbone back into that. That's what he was able to do over the festive period with the likes of Thomason doing so well in that left wing back position. It didn't force things, and I think that's why the squad is doing so well at the moment.
I really like how Phil's spoken about the intent and the energy that his team's had in these last 4 or 5 games. That's the bit that has given them the edge over these opposition. The quality is all there to see. We can play football. We've got some really good players in there. But that level of intensity, those standards, are what has got them the results. And he has to go again against this team, because if you do that, you've got more chance of winning.
And just to build on Andy's point, of course, 4 straight victories in the last 4 league games, but the unbeaten home run in the league stretches back a lot further. You have to go back to the middle of September for a home defeat. That was against Queen's Park Rangers, and here's the unbeaten run which we've seen since. A couple of draws with Derby and Birmingham before that breakthrough victory, the hard-fought 1-0 win over Oxford United, and that memorable Friday night, the 3-2 victory over Coventry with Kiefer Moore's hat-trick, backed up by those solid wins against Charlton and Bristol City. A couple of pre-Christmas draws against Blackburn Rovers and Watford, and then those victories post-Christmas as part of the current run. The Boxing Day 5-3 win over Sheffield United, backed up by the 2-1 win over Preston, and of course Wrexham have won on the road on 2 occasions since then. And Mia, we saw this last season, didn't we, where home defeats were so few and far between. Leighton Orient and Stevenage around about this time of the year, but up to then unbeaten here. And after that wobbly start, this really has become a fortress again.
Yeah, exactly that. And we spoke about that early on in the season, saying, listen, things aren't necessarily going too well to start with, but as Phil touched on, it was about the team gelling together, but also them understanding the type of fortress this place has been over the past few years, and you didn't want that to sort of pass them by. And I think that has now become, as you can see by the stats, a real thing to be seen. And we were looking at the league table before, and I think out of the current top 8, I think there's only 2 of them teams we have to actually go away to. The rest of those games are all here, and at the moment that can only be a good thing for Wrexham.
This football team's not used to losing games, and it hasn't been. I think they've only lost the 6 games in 36 games in the league. That's immense. They're not used to losing, and so when at the start of the season you get a couple on back to back, it's no, relax. The team's coming together. It's coming. They'll work together. They'll get better and better, and it's showing now. And they're really coming strong at the right time of year.
Well, Mia mentions the league table. Let's have a reminder of the standings as we go into this one this afternoon. It makes for good viewing for Wrexham fans because that run has moved them up from the middle of the table right to the fringes of the playoffs. You can see Wrexham there in 9th going into today's game, just 2 points behind Watford, sitting in 6th place. And it's certainly been a run which has shown the division Wrexham are serious candidates. It is tight. There are many teams in the mix, but Wrexham most certainly putting themselves in the playoff conversation over the last few weeks. At the bottom of the table, it's a rather different picture for Philippe Clement's Norwich City. As you can see, they're 3rd bottom on 24 points. They will be desperate to try and rack up a 7th win of the season and haul themselves over Portsmouth today. 3 go down, of course, from the Championship. So at this point in the season, I'm sure most Canaries fans would be delighted to finish 21st. Well, as ever this afternoon, some key matchups across the pitch, but one we wanted to pick out today was Ollie Rathbone, who's going to be up against Scottish international midfielder Kenny McLean. McLean making himself a national hero in Scotland just a few weeks ago when he scored a spectacular goal from inside his own half to secure the path to the United States for Scotland this summer. Left-footed central midfielder up against Rathbone, who is on the bench today for Wrexham, but highly likely, you'd think, to get some decent time in the second half. He's certainly made a huge impact coming off the bench on the occasions that he's done so this season. 4 goals already to his name despite very limited game time. You can see that shots on target percentage mere of 80. That really is going some, isn't it? Particularly when your opportunities are relatively few.
Absolutely. He's just so tenacious, isn't he? I think, that's a debate we were sort of having. You sort of expect him to start with what he's doing when he's coming off the bench, and obviously he started really well against Forest here last week. But then you obviously look at Windass and Broadhead, who obviously start today, and you think, well, how are we actually going to measure this then? Who are we going to put in front? And I sort of look at it from, who actually could actually make the better impact off the bench? And I think at the moment that is probably Ollie Rathbone. As to much of his annoyance, I'm sure that'll be, but he's just doing that, and he's causing teams so many problems because, as Andy says, he's just absolutely chomping at the bit, like so many of these players are at the moment that are just on the fringes. But someone like Kenny McLean as well, I think he's a top pro, a real sort of legend really at Norwich at the moment. Played so many games for him, obviously in the Prem and below. And what he's doing at the moment in that double pivot alongside Maatsen in there for Clement, really important. He's a really good progressor of the ball, and I think that if Ollie Rathbone does come on, that'll be a really interesting battle.
He is the experience, McLean, in this team, because they're so young all around the park. They're 23, 24s. I think the average age is 23 and a half for the team that started against Stoke, and he's 34. And he's 7 years older than everybody else in that team. He is adding that bit right in the middle of the park of getting people around him, and I think they'll probably this window look to get a couple of more older bodies in it that have done it, been there and done it, just to help those younger lads, because they've obviously got ability. It's just that know-how to stay in this league and win games.
The point Mia makes, Andy, about the fact that Rathbone's probably the best sub at the moment in terms of the players in that position. This is where football's really started to change, hasn't it? Because historically, you'd pick your best team, and the view would be, well, Phil Parkinson's taken the view that Windass is a better option than Rathbone, so Rathbone goes on the bench. But now there's almost a different dynamic, isn't there, to say when players are starting to tire, 65 minutes or thereabouts, you actually deliberately put someone on the bench who is better at exploiting the space that becomes available around the pitch.
Finishers, not substitutes now. This is something new in the game.
Succinct way of putting the point, thank you.
But if you tell Rolly Rathbone that, oh, you're going to be the finisher here, we'll put you on. No, I'm not. I'm starting. Start me, because that's what you come to be a footballer about. You want to play all the games, as many minutes as you possibly can.
Of course.
But what that does is I think Windass from the start, he'll give us that little bit of drive forward, that little bit, probably a little bit more quality on the ball that maybe unlock a defence when both teams are head to head, and then you bring Rathbone's energy from getting into spaces when then maybe the pitch is a bit more stretched. Yes, that might just work for him, and he's got this little niggly thing that's been going on last week. It just makes sense.
Well, we wait to see if Ollie Rathbone will take a cameo appearance, perhaps in the second half this afternoon. As Mia says, plenty of great options for Phil Parkinson on the bench today. But last Friday, Rathbone was given a starting jersey, and boy, did he take full advantage of that. He was one of the stars as Wrexham dumped Nottingham Forest out of the FA Cup. Let's have a reminder of how that one played out.
Rathbone finds Broadhead, Kakache into a nice position, which creates space on the flank for Doyle, and he rips a vicious ball in. Savona watched that well, clears it in the near post. Dobson tackles back brilliantly. Now then, chance for the shot, drilled. Yes! Wrexham take the lead. He's one of our own. Absolutely, yeah. Wrexham win it back. Doyle, that's a good ball. Rathbone now. Oh, that's a crucial tackle, but Wrexham win it back. Broadhead leads it into the edge of the area. Rathbone hits it. Yes! 2-0! And that's all about persistence. Rathbone again. Broadhead did so well, but Wrexham just at it and at it and at it. Wouldn't let the ball go dead. Wouldn't let the attack die. And it's 2-0. What a performance this is. Savona picks out down the side of the right-hand side, swings it in, great header off the line. Forrest sink it in, and it is 2-1. Maybe it's a good thing the first defender blocks it, and Windass picks it up and draws a careless challenge from Hudson-Odoi for a free kick. Dobson's free kick launched in, great ball in, and 3-1! High up with the diving header, what a free kick! The moment he hit it, you can see he turned Forrest defence, and Hyam, like Kakache, scores his first goal for Wrexham. Let's just run the clock down a touch. Hutchison tries to clip it past Thomas and does well. That's the goal line. Drills across in dangerously, and it's hit, and it's in. Callum Hudson-Odoi strikes back for Forrest. What a hit across the keeper. So 2 up front now for Forrest. Douglas Luiz, of course, the player who went off, and he's a big unit. It's played in nicely. 2 out when he's first touch. He scores. Oh, he ran in between the left side of centre-back and the central one. There was so much space in there, and he hooks it over a Concord. Great finish in the last minute. How cruel is that? Gives the go-ahead. Windass, yes! Drills it in. Sells went low to his left. Windass drilled it into the roof of the net. It's a long waste, but here it is. Gibbs wide, steps up, sends him the wrong way. And McLean, feet wide apart, steps up, puts it over. Oh dear. He's always looked to be leaning a bit backwards, isn't he? And goes to the top left corner, doesn't hit it. And Forrest have the advantage. And then steps up right-footed. Saved! Great save by Okonkwo. Drops to his right. It was hit central height, but he didn't quite put it inside the post. And Okonkwo, great save. Wants to get it over and done with, drills it. Ooh, he hit that, and he's really giving it loads as Stoke go through. Coffee end. Oh, Okonkwo bounces. Hudson-Odoi. Oh, it's a great penalty that. Top right corner. Says he's going to go left. Thomason left-footed, drills it. Oh, Sells did go left, and Thomason smashed it in half at the post. Great penalty that. Williams steps up. Oh, it's in, but it went under the Okonkwo's hand. He nearly got to that. Rodriguez waits on the edge of the area, steps up. Oh, it's a good pen. Gave the keeper the eyes, and Zell's going to move, driven inside the right post. Left-footed, short run-up. The crowd making a terrific noise, those torches behind the goal. Hutchison, save! Wrexham are through! Wrexham knocked Nottingham Forest out of the cup! Arthur Okonkwo, the hero, diving to his left. Hutchison didn't find the corner, and Arthur Okonkwo, with those lovely big hands of his, you gotta love that man.
Joyous scenes then at the Stoke Kairas last Friday night. Arthur Okonkwo, the penalty shootout hero, and the party went on and on deep into the early hours of Saturday morning. One the fans really enjoyed, and now the prospect of another home tie after Wrexham were drawn against Ipswich Town, fellow championship side in the next round, who are actually due to play back here the week after the cup tie is played. That date has now been confirmed, if you've not seen it, for Friday the 13th of February, 7:45 kickoff under the lights. Unlucky for some, Friday the 13th, hopefully not for Wrexham. Andy, what were your thoughts on the cup draw of Ipswich at home?
I think it's a really tough tie. I think they're one of the teams in the Championship that are flying. I think that them and Cov are the only ones that have got more points than us in the Championship in the last 15, 16 games. So, really tough game. If you're going to get a draw, you want to be at home or away to a biggie. I think, personally, you get your home draw. Our form at home has been really good, as we've shown. And so let's take that, let's run with it. And like you say, there will be changes, more than likely, with both teams. But it's another opportunity to get through.
One step from the last 16 for Wrexham, but that's the best part of a month away. Lots of championship football to be played between now and then, and this afternoon Norwich City are in town. Let's have a look at the battle in the dugout today, because Phil Parkinson squares up to Philippe Clement, the Belgian manager, who's got a lot of experience through his career. 408 matches, as you can see on screen, so a lot of experience for the Belgian to bring to the party. A very tasty win percentage as well over such a long period of time of almost 56%, and we can have a little look at his career to date in the dugout, because he's worked in several countries building his experience. Started off in his native Belgium with Varsland Bereven, and then Genk, for whom he had much success winning the Belgian league. Then Club Bruges, one of Belgium's biggest clubs. He then moved into France, enjoying a bit of time there on the French Riviera. That must be a nice place to manage. Monaco for a little stint, and then Glasgow Rangers up in Scotland, where results were mixed. He did pick up a trophy, but he left there in February last year, arriving at Norwich in November as the Norwich board decided Liam Manning was not the right man for the job. But you can see on the bottom of our graphic there, 5 trophies picked up by Clement through his career. And as we look at those on screen now, the one that really stands out was the one I referenced at Genk, because that claiming of the Belgian title really was something quite unprecedented. It also enabled him to pick up the Pro League Manager of the Year that year in 2019, and sparked the interest of Club Bruges, leading him to some silverware with them, and most recently the Scottish League Cup at Rangers. So Clement's a man who's built his experience. It didn't work out for him in the end in Glasgow, but he seems to have solidified Norwich and given them at least a pathway potentially to get away from trouble.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just looking at that, I mean, Monaco to Glasgow is quite the move, isn't it?
Yeah, walking around Govan must have been a little bit of a culture shock when he's come from the French Riviera.
How the family reacted to that one, no offence to Glasgow. But no, I think it's a really good acquisition. I think he's a real top manager. I think, to come in when Norwich were, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but at Carrow Road back in late September, it was horrible.
Non-existent defence, wasn't it, for the Windass goal?
Even just
the atmosphere around the place.
It was bleak, and they went 1-0 up, and you still felt like it was all Wrexham really, and yeah, it was just weird. And but yeah, since he's come in, I think there's definitely been a sort of transformation and a turnaround, which which is good because they are a really good club. I do really like Norwich, and he's not had it easy though, has he? Especially over the last few weeks with obviously the likes of Josh Sargent and that sort of saga going on. But I think he's dealt with that really well. He's put the rest of his players first, and that's what you want from a new manager. You want him to make those priorities and get those right. And his style of play is really interesting as well. I think he, so far from what we've seen, he has stuck to what he's done at previous clubs, and trying to maybe not be in possession of the ball the most time, but be more effective on that counter in that transition. So I expect that again today. So might be one of those that the team really wants to be on the ball too much, but we've seen that here before. But yeah, I think a top manager, and yeah, seems to be on the turnaround with Norwich.
Well, a feature of Wrexham's recent excellent run has been the form of midfielder Matty James, and in particular his ability to pick a pass from distance. Phil Parkinson was addressing a group of the club's members this week at a session here in the 1864 suite, and talked about the fact that he wants his teams to be hard to play against, unpredictable, mixing up how they go about their game. And Matty James has been a great example of that, with his ability to drop deep and almost play the quarterback pass. Let's have a reminder of some of Matty's best moments, both last season and in particular in this one so far.
Rocky start after a lively start of the game. As James looks for the through ball, he's put Elliot in and he feeds it in. Wrexham take the lead. Genius from Matty James. Bristol Rovers line too high. Matty James now 35 yards out, dinks it in for Smith. 1-on-1. Oh, it's there. 2-0. Oh, what a goal. James with the most delicious assist, and it's tidied up by Dobson. James looks left over the top. There's good runners here. There's a great ball for Windass right side the box. Drills it. Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Josh Windass. The pass from Matty James was perfection over the top.
Yeah, it just feels like Wrexham are getting all those pieces in the middle of the park at the moment. Everything's dropping to a yellow shirt because of the intensity they're setting.
Disguise pass is intercepted, and James plays a typical ball over the top for Smith. Smith takes a touch on his thigh, hits it first time and scores. Great keeping, but Pear's got his angles all wrong, and Sam Smith gets the first goal of 2026.
Some magic there from Matty James, culminating in that great ball to Sam Smith for the opening goal against Blackburn Rovers in one of Wrexham's recent wins. Mia, Matty's form this season, I think probably, it would be fair to say, has probably surpassed the expectations of a number of fans. Having stepped back up into the Championship, he's become a player who Wrexham have turned to quite often for that unlocked ball, and often he's been able to put it on a sixpence for whoever's chasing it.
Yeah, well, he's become the only player in this Wrexham squad to feature in every league game this season, whether that's been obviously starting or off the bench. So I think that shows the importance that he has in this squad now for Phil Parkinson, and absolutely that. I think his experience is sort of second to none in this squad, but just his overall play. I think him and Sheaf, that partnership, I think they've played together about 6 times now, and what they offer is just sort of complete control in that middle of the park, and that sort of triangle they pick up, whether it's them two and then normally the central defender. It really opens the game up. I was so impressed with that when away at Derby. Obviously got his goal as well, and some of those balls over, like we've just shown there, that quarterback role. I just love those relationships he's got with obviously normally predominantly Sam Smith up top, and that's been shown again this season. And absolutely, I think you can just tell he's really enjoying his football again this year, and has sort of posed the question out there that why on earth was he able for us to get him for free? Thank God we did, but why was that a possibility?
And he's a striker's dream. For me, if you're a striker plays on the shoulder like Sam Smith does, if he has a little bit of space, he gets his head up, get on your bike, because he can put it anywhere for you and perfectly. He's done it so many times on those VTs. It's class, isn't it, watching those balls play. If I'm a striker, I am absolutely loving him in the team.
You'd have quite fancied having him behind you, wouldn't you?
He'd have been all right, yeah. I had Daz Ferguson. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, not bad.
It'll
not
do.
Bad. Well, today marks a really significant anniversary in football, and it might not be one that you're aware of, because it is 50 years since the first ever shirt sponsorship in the British game. Back in January 1976, for the very first time, a commercial organisation appeared on a football shirt. But the pioneers weren't Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal or Spurs. They were a small non-league club in Northamptonshire. Kettering Town. Derek Dougan, the former Northern Ireland and Wolves striker, joined Kettering as player-manager at the end of his career, and he had this idea to partner with local business Kettering Tyres. Replica shirts have, of course, become a multi-billion-pound industry, being a major revenue source for clubs throughout the game, both in league and non-league football in the UK and across the world. Today, Kettering are marking that anniversary with their match against Alvechurch. But first of all, let's have a little reminder, because they have got quite a story to tell.
50 years have come and gone, but still the story marches on. In 1976, one day, Kettering Town would lead the way. The Poppies had a clever plan, a tiny team, a mighty stand. Let's try something new, they said. Put a sponsor on our head. Out they walked for all to see, up Rockingham Road, proud as can be. Kettering Tyres across the chest, the very first shirt like the rest. The FA frowned, now take it off. No sponsor names, not even half. Duggan tried a cheeky trick, Kettering team might do the fix. But rules are rules, and so it went. The letters came, the letters went. Still something big had just begun, a spark that shone like morning sun. From that small step, a giant grew, soon big teams tried sponsorship too. Liverpool, Derby, more and more, followed the path Kettering wore. Now every match and every game have shirts that proudly show a name, but it began as legends do, with Poppies brave and heart so true. Now we celebrate that day, in shirts made just the same old way, with fans and players side by side. We cheer that moment, filled with pride. Here's to history bold and bright, the magic shirt, the famous first sight. 50 years on and we still cheer loud. Kettering Town, you made us proud.
The remarkable story of Kettering Town, pioneers in the whole area of shirt sponsorship. And you might notice that the studio's got a bit of a different look now, because Andy, Mia and I are all sporting famous Wrexham replica shirts through the years. You can see on screen the history of Wrexham shirt sponsors, starting with Crossville buses back in 84, 85, and taking us right through to United Airlines in the current day. There have, of course, been iconic shirts through the years. Many fans look back and say, oh, my favourite shirt was the Wrexham Lager shirt, or the Ivor Williams Trailers shirt, or the Least Direct shirt. Iconic, all of them in their own right. And delighted to have Richard Hughes from Ivor Williams Trailers join Mia, Andy and I in the studio. Richard, welcome to Matchday Live. Let's start with you, because Andy's sporting one of the famous Ivor Williams Trailers shirts. He's breathing in hard. He's managed to squeeze
like he's never been away.
We've kind of vacuumed him into there. But Richard, what did it mean to Ivor Williams Trailers as a family business to be on the Wrexham shirts for 5 seasons?
Well, it was fantastic. You know, when it started, obviously it was different days for the club back then. You know, with being trust and support our own club. There was a guy that worked with the company. Him and a few others had asked if the company would be interested. They approached myself, who, in turn, I went to one of the owners, Carol Williams. She fully backed the idea, and you know, the company liked to be involved with a professional football club in North Wales, because you know, we've got so many supporters within the company that it was just brilliant to be involved. And the first time it came out with that on the shirt, it was great for us all to see.
Oh, fantastic. The business are based, of course, locally in Cortland, but throughout the world the Ivor Williams Trailers are found. I was actually at an event in the Netherlands in October. We were doing some sheep herding. I won't go into too much more detail, but we were doing some sheep herding, and when the farmer got there and released all her sheep out the back of her vehicle in just outside Amsterdam, there it was, Ivor Williams Trailers of Corwin, with a sign on it. So I took a photo and I said to her, I'm from the town where Ivor Williams' trailers are based, and she said, oh, these are the best. We had to wait months for this trailer, but it was so worth it. So your brand has gone internationally and the reputation goes with it.
Well, exactly. We're in terms of trailers, we sell throughout Europe and further afield, all through the UK, most of Europe. We got several distributors in most of the countries. The product's good, Chris. So, long may that continue.
Absolutely, Richard, absolutely. And Andy, you're sporting the Ivor Williams Trailers shirt there. You played in a few different sponsored shirts for Wrexham. Is there always an excitement in the players' dressing room when the new kit comes out every year and you might see that new sponsor on there?
Yeah, the new kit's always a great day for all players because you get to try it on, see what you're going to look like for the season ahead. I can't believe the size of the thing that you've got on there. The Wrexham, that I actually played in, that
rather
in the testimonial.
large.
I'm glad it wasn't windy that night, but I love the sponsors. So many iconic sponsors as well out there. I think of Crown Paints and Candy for Liverpool, etc. They can make big headlines, can't they, off the back of sponsoring football clubs? And it's brilliant that the community, because before the owners came in, it was tough, wasn't it, for the football club?
Andy,
and these small companies or these bigger companies around the area, they helped out this football club massively, and they need to be remembered as well while we're going so well.
Amir, Carlsberg on your top, one of the most prestigious brands that Wrexham ever had. Tell us about your top that you're wearing today.
Yeah, it's actually match worn, I believe. That's why it's in such a bad state from my father from the 98 to the noughties season. So pretty special one. It's actually the only one he's got that we could find in the garage. The rest of them he seems to have given away, which much to my disgust, obviously. But no, a special one, and yeah, it gets put on now and again.
Amir, I know as part of your studies you're heavily involved in the business of football, and if you actually look at the breakthrough Kettering made with Derek Dougan back in 1976, if someone hadn't had the idea of sponsoring shirts, just how much money would never have flowed into football, because the sale of replica shirts, I think if you went to every club shop in the land and said what's your best selling item, the home shirt complete with sponsor, I would have thought in almost every case would be the answer.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy now. Obviously, this thing here isn't just it. There's back of shirt, there's sleeve sponsor, there's short sponsor, which I'm pretty sure Ivor Williams were for a while as well. So it's wherever people can it's sort of become that sort of F1 car sort of look, if you like. And listen, if you can get any more funds into the club, then these clubs are going to do it. So it makes sense, and yeah, it always makes the shirt a little bit more interesting as well, with a bit of a story, right?
Absolutely. Well, Richard, huge thanks for joining us on Matchday Live from Ivor Williams today, and thank you so much for your continued support for the club. It's awesome to have you guys still involved at the Stoke Kairas.
Well, thanks very much for having us, Chris, and yeah, long may that continue. The company love being involved. It's been a roller coaster ride, and riding the crest of a wave at the moment, as we all are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll keep enjoying the highs.
Okay.
We'll keep enjoying the highs. Well, of course, shirt sponsorship has changed over the years. It's become much more of a partnership for many organisations. And here at Wrexham, we have the opportunity through our current sponsors, United Airlines, to partner closely with the community of Patagonia. And of course, everyone here at Wrexham wishes Kettering Town every success with their event today. A lot of the players who were involved back in 1976 invited to be special guests of the club, and we will keep an eye on their result against Alvechurch, wishing them all the very best for that game. A couple of former Wrexham players in the current Kettering squad, Wes York being one and Callum Powell another, so some links as well to former Wrexham players. Now, looking ahead to this match this afternoon, we've had the chance to hear from one of Wrexham's most consistent performers so far this season. A man who arrived fairly late in the summer transfer window from Coventry City, but who has made his mark in central midfield. Looking ahead to the battle with Norwich this afternoon, we've had the chance to hear from Ben Sheaf.
Well, a memorable night for the football club on Friday. What was it like to be a part of? Yeah, it was great. Like you say, definitely a memorable night for the club, and I think we fully deserved to go through. First half we were really good. Probably should have been 1 or 2 more goals up, but obviously they're going to get better in the second half, make some changes, but still create some good chances. And like I say, just the atmosphere and the night itself was definitely a memorable one. And into the next round, and looking forward to hopefully progressing through the next game as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the next round. It's going to be Ipswich at home, a team you've already played this season, and you'll play them a week again after that one as well. But I mean, what do you make of that draw? Yeah,
tough draw. Obviously they're going well in the league at the moment. I think they're finding their rhythm a little bit. But I think being at home and our record there of late, that's definitely gonna give us an advantage. But yeah, obviously they're a top team. Be a tough game. But we're looking forward to it.
And how much do you personally and as a squad collectively as well enjoy playing here? Because the record recently has been phenomenal, hasn't it?
Yeah, really good recently. I think obviously at the start it was a bit on and off with our performances, especially at home. But I think it seems to have clicked a bit more now, and playing some good stuff. And that's what you want from at your home stadium. You want it to be a tough place for teams to come and play, and hopefully we can keep on doing that.
And when you've had such a manic schedule in the league and then 120 minutes in the cup, I mean, how nice is it to have a bit of not a breather, but more time to prepare this week? Yeah,
it's been good. Been a tough week's training though. We've trained well this week, so a bit different having a whole week leading into a game. But like you say, give us a bit of a breather, and been able to get some proper training in. Lads are in good shape, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going. And how are you finding it with players like Issa Gabori coming back from AFCON? Jay Rodriguez has been in the squad recently. Other players coming back. Andy Cannon, there's a few coming back now. Yeah, we've got a really strong squad, a really top championship squad, and there's a lot of competition for places, and that's only going to make training better. And then when it comes to games, people are going to need to perform well to keep playing. So it's great to have those boys back, and having a fully fit squad is really positive. And quite a few of your teammates have said the aim is to get playoffs this season if possible, and the run you've been on lately, it proves that you're certainly contenders. I mean, is that how you feel? 100%, yeah. I think you look at the squad we've got and the quality we've got in the team. There's no reason why we shouldn't be up there, and I think this is probably a more open league than it has been in previous years. If we can keep doing the things we're doing and keep improving on top of that, I think we give ourselves a right chance of being up there. So it's exciting. We just spoke to the manager about Norwich as well, a different manager from the first time you played him. I think it was that your first away game for Wrexham. What were you expecting different this time? Because like I say, a new manager, and they've had a bit of a lift recently, haven't they? Yeah, they've definitely picked up of late with the new manager coming in. Obviously it's going to be a different game, different way of playing for them. But I think if we focus on ourselves and, like I say, the way we've been playing at a racecourse with the fans and the atmosphere, I think we will make it difficult for any team. So it'd be an interesting game, but one we'll be looking to definitely win. Appreciate your time. Thank you. No worries. That Norwich game away, I think, was that your first start as well? Yeah, I think it was my first start. Yeah. I think. Come on against QPR. Yeah, QPR. Yeah. So you've good competition in that midfield. You and Matty and George seem to like a bit of rotation there as well sometimes, which may be needed when the games have come thick and fast. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the benefit of having a good squad and good players, is that you can do that. Obviously, we want to play every minute of every game. As professionals, you do want to do that. But having multiple players in every position definitely helps, especially if you can rotate it and freshen it up every now and again. So some real good quality players in the squad. On a good run at the moment, 4 wins in the league, and then obviously the Forest win as well, so things are really going well. Yeah, definitely. I think it was only a matter of time before we started to sort of click and start playing some good stuff, and it just seems to sort of be finding our feet a little bit now, and everyone's getting to know each other a little bit better, and we're finding our form at a good time. And this league's obviously not easy. It's not going to be straightforward from now to end the season, but I think if we keep doing the things we're doing and adding on that, we could definitely give ourselves a right chance of continuing to win games and moving up the league. Yeah, all them games have gone now. It's all about focusing on 20 games left to go in the league, and then you've got Ipswich, so it's really good times to be at the racecourse. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Obviously, the club over the last few years has only gone one way, and we want to keep that trajectory. it's a big ask, but like I say, I think within the squad, it's definitely something we believe we can do. And yeah, just to keep improving and hopefully find ourselves right up there.
Lastly, the last significant win for Wrexham in the FA Cup was against Coventry a few years ago, and obviously you're on the other camp. I mean, the manager said last week that they've shown you clips of all the big Wrexham wins. So it was a bit not very good for you to watch.
It was quite funny, to be fair, looking back on it. He showed a few of the big upsets, and he showed the Cov one, and I was in a few of the clips on the other team, but he didn't show him a goal, which I was a bit gutted about in that game. But it was a good meeting before the game. I think it definitely helped us going into that. It gave us a bit more motivation to go and beat a Premier League team, and went toe to toe with them. And it was I think it just shows the level that we can perform at, and if we can continue that and keep it going in the league, then it's definitely exciting.
Midfielder Ben Sheaf looking ahead to this afternoon's match against Norwich City. We're just about 3 minutes from kick-off here at the Stoke Kairas. So if you haven't yet got your iFollow pass sorted for today, head to wrexhamafc.co.uk/live for all the options there. We are, of course, continuing to offer our fan wall service today. Have a look at that QR code in the top corner of the screen. That means you might be able to get yourself on the fan wall, both on the big screens inside the racecourse stadium or on our holding slate, which appears during the periods of the match here on Match Day Live. So wherever you are, get your photo taken. Let us know whether you're watching from one of the stands inside the stadium or you are further afield. We would love to see your selfies, and they will be going out throughout the first half and the second half on this link on YouTube here on Matchday Live. You can see the players are out for this afternoon's Sky Bet Championship match. Wrexham squaring up to Norwich City, looking to try and claim their first double scalp of the season, having been victorious at Carrow Road much earlier in the campaign. Norwich third from bottom and in desperate need of points to get away from relegation trouble, whilst Wrexham are knocking on the door of those playoff places. 4 changes from Phil Parkinson this afternoon. Returns for Thomason, for Cleworth, for Windass and for Isa Kabore. Wrexham pursuing a 5th straight victory in the Sky Bet Championship. Let's see if they can achieve it. We'll be back here at half-time, where former player Darren Brace will join us for a catch-up. We hope to see you back here then too, and see how Wrexham progress in the first half this afternoon. We look forward to your company back then. Bye for now.
Score for Wrexham, number 28, Smith!
sy'n wedi dynodi bydd yna lleiaf o 1 munud ychwanegol. The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute, and in time that's 1 minute.
Welcome back to Matchday Live, half-time here at the Stoke Kairas. It's Wrexham 1, Norwich City 1. A hard-fought and entertaining first half, and Wrexham have had to come from behind to be on level terms at the interval. The Canaries made a really bright start and took the lead in the 9th minute. Ali Ahmed on his full debut for Norwich City, sliding the ball in for Anis Ben-Shimani, and the Tunisian making no mistake. He found himself in quite a bit of space in the Wrexham box and side-footed past Arthur Okonkwo. It could have been worse for Wrexham 3 minutes later Ahmed again involved with a very decent curling effort from the edge of the box, which hit the crossbar. Notice had been served. Wrexham then sprung into life and started to find something like their usual rhythm and were back on level terms in the 24th minute. An excellent cross from Max Cleworth and an even better header from Sam Smith, powering the ball home for his third goal in as many league games. Wrexham then had much the better of the rest of the half. Smith with another decent headed effort, just going over the bar, but it's been competitive from the start. Norwich out of the traps quicker, Wrexham finishing stronger, and at half-time it's all square. Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell fresh from the commentary box. Mia, how have you seen it?
Yeah, I think Phil Parkinson will be disappointed with how Wrexham started that game. I think they were, pretty much that slow out the traps, really, and gave Norwich the opportunity to go ahead, which they took with both hands. I thought Norwich were really impressive to begin with. I thought, like we touched on before the game, I think they were looking to hit Wrexham on that counter attack, and they certainly did that. The goals come from that. A poor ball over. I think you can see what Sheaf's trying to do, trying to get it over that high line that had stepped on, and it's just come straight back at Wrexham. And Ali Ahmed started the game really well, going into the space that Kabore had vacated a number of times, and just has himself up against Max Cleworth, and he's got that extra bit of space and hits it across goal, and lands in the feet of Slimane, who's got a pretty good opportunity to hit the target, which he does, and successfully. So I thought Norwich started really well, but then to be fair to Wrexham, I thought they then responded really well too, and started winning a lot of those second balls, started making better decisions on the ball. Were equally patient, but showed more intent going forward. And I think the goal, and there were some really good moves on this left hand side as well, but particularly out wide with Thomason and Kabore, Wrexham have been really, really good today.
Andy, what's changed in the second half of the first half?
We had a bit more intensity. We were able to work out our press. We didn't really get it quite right. Our transition, when Kabore was going onto Christine, Max was having to go out onto Ahmed, and it was just a little bit slow, so they'll get a bit more time. They got that sorted out, and also we just started winning a lot more second balls. We started to pick up the ball, which enables our wing-backs then the time to get up the pitch. We make a pass, they can go up, and we can pen them in then, and then when they can't get out, and we did that ever so well. And then just a little bit more quality out wide. We had the cross by Broadhead, which Windass nearly puts in, and then on the other side it's Max cross to Sam Smith, and just watching that goal, it's just a striker's dream watching him, because he just movement to the back post, then just goes right across McConville. The timing's perfect, and it's a great finish off his head into the far corner.
Textbook centre forwards header for sure from Sam Smith, a man in great form at the moment. Let's have a look at the half-time stats then to see how they broke down as this game played through. Wrexham having to work hard to find their rhythm, but as Andy says, the passing starting to come together as the half concluded. 56% possession for Wrexham, just under 44 for Norwich. 9 shots for the home side, but just a 1 on target might be a cause for some disappointment for Phil Parkinson, and all 3 corners thus far have gone Wrexham's way. Let's have a look at the defensive stats before we bring in former Wrexham defender Darren Brace for a catch-up at half-time here on Matchday Live. Norwich having to put in more tackles, but Wrexham having to make more interceptions, Mia.
Yeah, and I'd love to see how many of those interceptions George Dobson's made. I think he's been really good in the second part, mostly of that first half. I think he's actually won the most tackles, or made the most tackles in the Championship so far this season, which shows the type of player he's been for Wrexham, especially because he hasn't actually started every single game either. But no, that I think him and Ben Sheaf certainly grew into that game, and they've sort of got sort of winning that battle now over McLean and Maatsen, which I think at the start of that first half they weren't, but they've certainly grown into it. I spoke about distances on comms. I think they've sort of tucked in and become a bit closer, which is really important. And Dom Hyam, I think as well, he's been really solid in there with those long balls over to McCarmer against 6'5" striker. That's not easy, but he's dealing with that really well.
Andy, just one quick thought from you on connotations with Kiefer Moore on the bench. If this match stays level, or if Norwich go back into the lead, does Phil go Moore and Smith, or is it always going to be the case of either or in that number 9 role?
Yeah, I think it will be one, just because of the shape that suited them so well in this past 4 or 5 games that they've gone back to this box. I think it will just be a straight swap. I think they'll look to manage them over the next 3 games as it is. Ease Moore back in, but as well Smith's on fire at the minute, so he's just going to be playing. So just make sure we look after him as well. I think that's only we've got to worry about.
Andy Meir, thank you very much for now. All the best with your second half commentary duties. We'll see Andy and Meir at full time again here on Match Day Live. But it's lovely to have the chance to catch up with a former Wrexham player. A warm welcome to Match Day Live to Darren Brace. Darren, lovely to see you back at the race course. Of course, you played here for a number of seasons in the late 90s. We'll come to that in a moment. But what did you make of the first half, first of all?
Yeah, it's been an even game. Norwich obviously started brightly, got themselves ahead with a well-constructed move and a clinical finish. But Wrexham have gained control. They're looking, neat and tidy. They're getting themselves into good positions, and we're just waiting for that little bit of quality into the box. When we've had that quality, obviously we've got people in and around the 18-yard box who can finish, because that was one hell of a header.
It was, wasn't it? Superb effort from Sam Smith.
It certainly was.
And this game today for you, Darren, has got particular resonance because you were an apprentice, I think, at Norwich City before signing for Wrexham in the mid-90s.
Yeah, I started my career at Norwich, 3 years up there, 2 years YT and year pro. Fantastic learning curve for me. Great club. Going really well at the time because they were in the hunt for a Premiership title when it first commenced. Got into Europe, so it was high-flying times for them, and then obviously made the move to Wrexham, to where I feel kind of came alive a little bit and enjoyed my football and flourished under Brian Finn, Kevin Reeves, and Joe Jones.
I'm glad you've mentioned Norwich in Europe, because that sometimes gets forgotten, Darren, in the early 90s when they beat Bayern Munich, didn't they, in the European Cup with that incredible volley from Jeremy Goss.
Yeah, it's obviously started with a great victory against Vitesse Arnhem, then obviously went on to the Munich affair where they dominated both games, it was a real, kind of history-making win. Jeremy Goss's goal will live on, for all Norwich supporters. And then obviously, they went out to Dennis Bergkamp inspired Inter Milan.
That was certainly quite some run for Norwich. Well worth looking up on YouTube, some of those Norwich games from the early 90s in that incredible European adventure they had. Your spell here, Darren, though, in the late 90s was actually a pretty good period for the club, wasn't it? Because most of the time you were here, League One football and top half finishes under Brian Flynn.
Yeah, we seem to always be pushing for a playoff place. It always kind of went beyond us in the end, but we were always there or thereabouts. It was a great time at the club, some fantastic characters. Unfortunately we just couldn't go that one step further like the current crop have.
Of course, FA Cup back on everybody's lips here around the racecourse at the moment, Darren. And in 96-97, you were part of that squad that went right the way through to the quarter-finals. Terrific run in that competition. So many highlights, hard to get through them all in a couple of minutes here. But perhaps I could pick out the Birmingham City game, which I remember clearly you playing in round 5. Wrexham going to St Andrews, a crowd of about 22,000, and a very famous Wrexham away win, 3-1 from memory.
Yeah, that's correct. It was a real great team performance. Really, really good. Birmingham, I don't think really thought that they were going to be turned over that day. But we had other ideas, like most Wrexham sides do when it comes to the FA Cup. We always seem to find that extra percent just to kind of go that one further.
Brian Flynn clearly spent many years here, had more than one spell here. What was he like to play under as a manager? Was he a great tactician, a great motivator? What were his key strengths?
It was both. It was a privilege to play for him. He got his point across in a calm but precise manner, and he was someone that you desperately wanted to play for, and I can probably speak for everyone in the dressing room that I belonged in, that we'd all want to run through brick walls for him.
After your time at Wrexham, you headed back to your hometown, Haverfordwest, to play for Haverfordwest County and concluded your career in non-league football. Are you still involved in the game in any way?
No, complete break. The body is shattered. In all fairness now, I just get the comfort of watching it on the telly.
Well, we hope you really enjoy the second half. I can see your two old clubs are emerging again for the second period. Let's take a quick prediction from you. Where's this one going to end up?
I'll stick my neck out. I think Wrexham will keep control and they will find a winner.
Darren, thank you so much. Here's hoping. So lovely to have you on Matchday Live. We wish you all the very best and congrats again for a great career at Wrexham.
Thank you very much.
Darren Brace joining us on Matchday Live this afternoon, as you can see. At full time to see if Wrexham managed to prevail here against Norwich City. 1-1 at the interval. Let's see how this one finishes. We'll be back with all the post-match analysis and reaction in around 50 minutes time. Please rejoin us on YouTube then. Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, just due to a medical emergency, the players have just been taken off for now. Please remain in your seats at the moment. I'll update you as soon as I can. Thank you.
Welcome back to Match Day Live, where the news from the Stoke Kairas is that this match between Wrexham and Norwich City is currently suspended due to a medical emergency in the Macron stand. Referee Will Finney took the players from the field of play in the 49th minute. Attention was being given from stewards and medical staff to a supporter in the Macron stand. We have no further information at this point as to what the incident is or to the condition of the supporter, but of course everybody at Wrexham Football Club wishes the affected person every success, and here's hoping that they can be managed successfully by the medical staff on site and ensure that they have a safe exit from the ground and the right medical attention can be given to them as soon as possible. So this match suspended after 49 minutes. We hope that once the medical issue has been managed, that the players may return to complete this fixture. But clearly the number one priority at this point in time is the safety and good health of the affected person and getting the right medical attention to them quickly to hopefully ensure a full recovery from the incident. So we will keep you updated when there is more news to share here at the Stoke Kairas. The score remains at 1-1, but all thoughts at this moment are with the affected person and their family, and we hope to be able to bring you positive news very soon here on Match Day Live. We'll keep you posted when there's more news to share.
start. Thank you very much for your assistance. Just to update all supporters, the players will be back on the pitch at 4:20. That is 4:20, just to keep you all informed. Thank you.
We're up closer, Ian Timai, please welcome the teams back onto the pitch. Play will resume in 5 minutes. Once again, play will resume in 5 minutes.
Welcome back to the Stoke Kairas. Good news I'm pleased to share is that the medical emergency has been dealt with. The players are now back out warming up. They're going to have a 5-minute warm-up and then the game will get underway again and we'll restart from the 49th minute. So really positive news here at the Stoke Kairas. We'll be underway again in 5 minutes. And we will see whether it's Wrexham or Norwich who can come out on top in this Sky Bet Championship encounter. So great news, the medical emergency has been dealt with and the game will be restarting very shortly. We'll be back here on Matchday Live for the final analysis at the end of 90 minutes. So please rejoin us then. Bye for now.
They scored a penalty in the 59th minute, number 24, Julian Palmer. Substitution for Norwich, leaving the field number 14, Ben Christeny. He's been replaced by number 3, Jack Stacey. Substitution for Wrexham, leaving the field, number 15, George Johnson. He's been replaced by number 37, Matty James. Leaving the field, number 10, Josh Windass. He's been replaced by number 20, Ollie Rathbone. Leaving the field, number 28, Sam Smith. He's been replaced by number 13, Buildup. The field number 12, Lisa Camore, who's replaced by number 28, Substitution for Norwich in the field number 20 on his bench Slimani. He's been replaced by number 19, Papa Diallo. Substitution for Wrexham leaving the field, number 14, George Thomason. He's been replaced by number 16, Jay Rodriguez. Mae pedwar sydd yn nodi bydd yn lle at yma 8 munud o'ch wenegol. The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 8 minutes and in time 8 minutes. Substitution for Norwich. Leaving the field number 7, Pele Matson. He's been replaced by number 16, Jacob Wright. support. Tops to double again, Heavy, the official attendance, 10,650. Our grateful thanks to the 1,273 away fans. We do hope you have a safe journey home. City, but it'll get come to our with all 4. But reminder, the next home game here in the Stoke Highlands is on Tuesday the 20th of Jan, when Leicester City are visitors for our Sky Bet Championship match, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Cyflewch ar ôl tabl y stadiwm gan defnyddio'r nesaf a Greg i bawb. A safe journey home to all supporters. Please do take care of leaving the stadium. The club trap will be open for 30 minutes after full time. We will see you again on Tuesday. That's like that.
Full time here at the Stoke Kairas, and Wrexham's recent winning run in the Sky Bet Championship has come to an end because they've been beaten by Norwich City here by 2-1 this afternoon. Jovan Makama with an excellent finish in the second half following a beautiful through ball from Kenny McLean, caught Wrexham on the break. And despite Nathan Broadhead going agonisingly close 5 minutes from time, a quite sensational save from Vladan Kovacevic kept the Norwich goal intact. Phil Parkinson rang the changes midway through the second half. On came Moore, Rathbone, James and Ryan Barnett. But it wasn't enough. Wrexham couldn't find a way through on this occasion, and even 8 minutes of added time didn't present an opportunity. There was to be no injury time heroics, and Norwich City, despite their struggles this season, bank a priceless away victory. It was a hard-working performance from Philippe Clement's side, and Wrexham once again getting a reminder of just how competitive the Championship is. Just when you think you're on a winning run and your eyes are going up the league, then a team from its nether regions can come and give you a bump. Mia and Andy have watched on from the commentary box. Mia, what would your summary be of all that?
Yeah, really difficult afternoon in the end, I think, for Wrexham. You know, I think we were coming in at half-time feeling pretty positive in, you know, the way they turned around that first half. it seemed like things were going to go well, but I think those first few minutes of that second half were going to be really key, and it just sort of mirrored the first one really. I thought Norwich just immediately got back into it, were winning those second balls again, really dangerous on the counter attack. I thought McCarmer just sort of was a completely different player to what he was in the first half, and showed the sort of player I was sort of expecting to see at the start of this game, and was at times was bullying Dom Hyam, and that's not a sentence we've said about many players at all this season, so he deserves a lot of credit in there, and I just thought they were much tidier than Wrexham. I thought Wrexham were just a bit disjointed. It became really scrappy, and there was a long period of that second half where there was just nothing. This place was quite solemn and quite quiet, and that's because there was just nothing really to get behind, and not even a tackle or a big moment a small moment in there to really try and lift this place. And yeah, it just didn't feel like it was coming, and I think they'll be really frustrated with it. Of course they will, but I suppose the winning end couldn't continue forevermore, and we said it at the top of the show today, maybe a few too many people were thinking this was going to be the easier one of the next few games, and as this league, as you touched on and mentioned, this league time and time again shows that it doesn't matter where someone is in the table, they can always cause you problems.
Andy, how did you see it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a Norwich sandwich for me. It was the first 15 minutes all Norwich, they get ahead, we come back into the game and look really strong, have chances, and then you think second half just a bit more of that, please. We have that break in play as well, and we just didn't handle it really well. We came back out and we were just really sloppy with our passes. Our touch failed us a few times, and then that set the tone really for that second half, and we never really got into our stride at all. We never got Kabore the ball at all on this right hand side where he was having so much joy in that first half. And then McCarmer was that different player. He was able to hold it up a little bit more, bring their wingers into play a little bit more, and we just found it more difficult, and we just never got that intensity and that energy back to take the game to Norwich, and they thoroughly deserved the win, really.
The dynamics of the game, Andy, were strange, weren't they? Because, as you say, Norwich started the brighter, but then kind of minute 15 to 45, Wrexham looked much the better side, got level and finished the first half the stronger. Then, of course, we had the 15-minute delay after just a few minutes in the second half. But from that point on, Norwich came out, they looked to gear up, they looked a little bit quicker. What do you think Philippe Clement changed to try and alter that a bit?
Well, I'm not really sure if he changed anything. I just thought that when we came out, our first two passes, boom, just went straight out of play or misplaced. And then a couple of chances where we had our touch to just bring a player into play, just went off to the side, we gave a cheap free throw in away or whatever. And that just sets the tone then for that half. And then you, as a player, you're trying to strive to get your confidence back, and then you start making things and playing passes that you wouldn't normally do. And it just sort of snowballed from there, really. And we just never got going in that second half for me.
Clearly it was a much longer delay, Andy, at Wycombe last year when we had the medical emergency. But in that particular game, there was only a handful of minutes left. Wrexham came out the far stronger, scored, and the game had a very different feel. This time, it was a much shorter delay, but Norwich looked on the front foot almost from the first whistle after the resumption. Why do you think that might be?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the first couple of minutes of the half that actually went ahead were fine. We just matched them up, and we sort of stepped on from where we left off, if you like, in that first half. But then, like you say, the 15-minute break, something happened. Whether we didn't go through those routines, what was said in the change rooms, I don't know. But Norwich just looked more lively when they came back out. They were more on the front foot, and for that half an hour in the second half, we were the ones that were winning that first ball, getting those second balls, and we just didn't do that in the second half.
Coming back to Jovan McCarmer, Mia, because we really saw his quality in the second half. I mean, he was such a handful, wasn't he? Powerful, strong, leading the line, a great finish. He could have had a second not long after that. That really was a textbook lesson from a young player in how to lead a line on your own when you know for a large part of the second half, having got ahead, you're going to be feeding on scraps a bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think, for me, a good way to put it is he's just completely softened the blow of the whole Josh Sargent thing. I think, having a player like him come in, do so well, that's his 10th league goal this season, you can just see he doesn't necessarily play like a 21-year-old. You know, I just think he plays with so much experience at times. I think these Norwich fans are sort of likening him to a bit of a Grant Holt type of player for them, and yeah, he's a really exciting one to watch. I thought in the first half Dom Hyam sort of had the better of him, and most times was getting first contact, but in that second, whether he was making first contact or not, he was making sure that ball bounced. And as a defender, you don't let that happen. You can't let that happen, because that always gives that attacker the advantage. And he just looks so sharp. I think he probably should have had more than one goal. Arthur Okonkwo made a great save this end of the pitch, and then he had another one where he's just got it wide. I think his touch has just taken him a little wide on his left foot. But yeah, I thought he was really good, and I think he's going to be a player that is probably going to keep this Norwich side up.
But he's a great size, big, he's athletic
6'5".
as well,
athlete,
so quick. So we have to drop to the space in behind. We can't just stay and let him flick things on, because he can run in behind as well. He looks like he's got a bit of everything, and he's certainly one to keep an eye on, I think. But
I think, especially with someone like Slimani, who was playing just in behind him, he had so much space, you know, in front of that defence, and it was sort of, obviously, especially when we were going for the equaliser, I think Ben Sheaf and whether it was Dobson or James were sort of in two minds. You know, are they actually allowed to sort of stick on the one who was staying in that gap, or did they have to press on and you know go for that goal? And it was that sort of indecision that I think, you know, it just led to Norwich having, on those counter-attacks in particular and in possession, they were just able to sustain that a bit more, and that then meant that Wrexham couldn't sustain their attacks and really pin Norwich in, which then led to you sort of having that feeling that we weren't just ever going to get that equaliser or a forthcoming winner on top of that too.
Let's have a little look at the full-time statistics then to see how this game was won by Philippe Clement's Norwich City. Norwich have got a couple of very difficult games coming up. They've got both Coventry and Middlesbrough in their next three, so this will certainly give them confidence going into those two battles. 55 to 45% possession, so that's pretty much as it was at half-time. Wrexham with 17 shots, but just the 2 on target, Andy, and I guess Phil Parkinson will be looking at that saying, well, that's perhaps part of the reason we've got nothing out of this game today. You know, 7 corners, more possession, 17 shots, but only 2 on target.
Well, I can't remember 17 shots.
Well, it was 9 at half time as well, wasn't it? And even that, we were sort of scratching our heads a little bit at how it got to that number.
When is a shot? I guess it might include ones that are charged down, and blocked ones as well.
Exactly. Yeah, we've hit a couple over the bar. Josh Windass, Ben Sheaf. Yeah. We certainly haven't hit the target when we have had an opportunity. But that's down to some decent defending as well off the back of that. But those 17 shots, I don't think they're great chances. We haven't really. I think Windass's was probably the best chance, wasn't it?
On the stretch.
On the first half, I think the defender's done quite well to do that. But second half, apart from the Broadhead one, it's an unbelievable save. He really is.
Well, it is an incredible save. And just to talk about that Kovacevic save, because as Broadhead arrived at that ball, literally the whole ground went up, didn't they? They thought that Broadhead had scored. And for Kovacevic to get across and save that, it was astonishing reactions.
Yeah, well, first of all, Thomason does ever so well. He does exactly the right thing. He goes side foot on the ball across and just punches it across, hoping for a tap in, really, which he does get. He gets Broadhead in the middle of the goal, side foot, and he just off balance slightly, doesn't quite catch it 100%, I don't think. But like you say, the keeper's at the near post and spins round, dives on it, and full hand on top of the ball, on top of the goal line, and just and you can see his teammates around him straight away, swarm him and give him a little pat on the back, because that's pretty much won in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig Gordon for Heart of Midlothian made a similar save in the Scottish League last week to ensure Hearts won their match, age 43, and it's not too dissimilar, this one today, from Kovacevic to deny Nathan Broadhead. Let's have a look at the defensive stats from today's game just to see how they played out in Norwich's victory here at the Stoke Kairas. More tackles won by the visitors, Wrexham with more interceptions. The Canaries having to make more clearances, some of those won in the air. Wrexham winning the aerial duels, Mia, but as you said, apart from that opportunity for Broadhead in the second half, this wasn't a Wrexham performance where you felt a goal was imminent. Yes, they had possession, and yes, they were working in and around the box and trying to find a way of unpicking the lock, but there weren't that many clear-cut chances.
No, and again, I come back to it. I just think those little chances that Wrexham did create were in these sort of moments, and then it would go back to Norwich and they'd come at us, and you know, that's fine. And listen, you can get goals like that, of course you can, but at this level, you know, here at at the Stoke Kairas, I feel like, if you're going into the last 10 minutes, and we've seen it so many times even this season, if we're putting that back line under the immense pressure that we know we can do, and this place gets up, which again we know it can do, then you do feel like something's going to come. These players feel like something's going to come. The opposition suddenly are thinking, oh, something's going to come here, we're in trouble. And it sounds simple, but it's so true. And like I say, we've seen it in many examples already, so it can happen. But yeah, I just think we didn't necessarily cause that Norwich back line as many issues as we could have. Obviously Kiefer Moore coming on, had a few good touches here and there, but I just felt that link up wasn't really there. I thought Nathan Broadhead was a bit too quiet today for his
I don't think we
usual self. Exactly, that's what I mean.
That pressure, where you get a cross in and then you get another cross in, and you're constantly picking up those balls and playing. Just that second half, we just didn't do that. It was like tit for tat a little bit too much.
Even when I think Ryan Barnett did well on a few occasions getting balls in, and then it ended up with a corner. That corner was then poor, or the ball in was all right, but then we weren't winning first contact, and it's from there then Norwich were countering, and it just felt like it wasn't Wrexham's day.
But it's not always going to be your day, and 4 straight wins and not having lost a match here in the league since mid-September, there is always an element of perspective to bring. It was Norwich's day today in securing the 3 points, and Wrexham's run of wins comes to an end. They've got a chance, of course, to put that right very quickly, because on Tuesday night Leicester City come to town. We'll be back with you then on Match Day Live, but the Foxes next up for Wrexham, another huge club, Premier League champions, of course, a decade ago. They are struggling a little bit this season, form a little bit patchy, and Wrexham tackle Leicester City on Tuesday night. That one's a 7:45 kickoff back here at the Stoke Kairas. Actually 8 o'clock, sorry, 8 o'clock on Tuesday night for the match against Leicester City. I can see that Callum Doyle is approaching. He's going to jump in and give us his thoughts today. Andy and Mia are going to stay as well. Hello, Callum. Thank you very much for joining us on Match Day Live. Good to see you. Welcome to the show, and thank you for giving us some of your time. What are some of the reflections in the dressing room after that defeat?
The lads are very disappointed, as we should be. I thought first half we obviously went a goal behind. I think we reacted well, and we started playing good football, and then went in half time, and then the second half, I just don't think we were good enough. We had a few passes going to astray off the pitch, and our quality that's normally there just wasn't there today.
Why do you think that might be, Callum, in the second half today?
Could be many things. I think we were slow to the ball, reactions, and once of the few passes going out of play, it's tough on the pitch because you want to keep the ball, and we obviously want to go and score, especially when we go one down in the second half, and I think our reaction could be better.
Callum, obviously there was the medical emergency, obviously not long after the half time as well. How difficult is that for you as players to suddenly get yourself going again, after a quite fairly long pause in play?
Yeah, obviously it's not a good moment, and I send my best regards to the person that was it collapsed.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I'm not too sure, but I send my best regards, and obviously it's hard. We did start very well coming out half time, and then on the fortunate events, and then we came back out, and we just wasn't good enough.
And your season so far, you've come back into the team. You've gone in and out a little bit, getting your fitness. You've played the last 5. Feeling a bit more at home now on that left-hand side of the back 3?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, it's took me some time to get back in the team, and this run of games has been good. Obviously, except from tonight, it's a tough one to take, but we've had a good run, and we've got another game Tuesday, and we've just got to pick it up.
We've often talked, Callum, on this show this season of how competitive the Championship is, and we've seen other teams go on runs like we've been on of late, Southampton, Sheffield United, and then they've had a blip against a team that on paper you'd expect them to be beating. Is this an element now in the dressing room to take forward for the rest of the season, or did you need no reminder that actually every team in this division provides a threat?
Yeah, I think we've got experienced players in this league. And we know what this league is like. Anyone can beat anyone. It's a tough league. It's a physical league, and like I said, the games come thick and fast. And we've just got to get rid of this game and move on to the next.
And is the fact that you've got another chance back here in 3 days' time a good thing to try and show a response so soon after that defeat today?
Yeah, 100%. It's a good thing that we got a game Tuesday, so we can put it right and I'm sure that the fans will get behind us on that one.
And Callum, I know you mentioned obviously disappointed with today, but just looking back again, since you've come into the squad, I think something that's really impressed us is how progressive you are at times in that back three. Is that something you really enjoy in that role? Is that something that has been part of your game, since you were younger, maybe at City and obviously last year at Norwich as well?
Yeah, obviously I like to go forward. I'm pretty sure everyone does, and but
you just look very comfortable with it, I think.
Yeah, especially when you've got like great players, that you can link up with. Nathan Broadhead, obviously George tonight, and we've got that link up at times. You might have seen in the past games that it's been really good, and so it's something that I picked up when I was younger, and I've put it into my game.
And just finally, Callum, we certainly thought Nathan Broadhead had scored late on in the game today. When the keeper Kovacevic makes a save like that, sometimes you have to just say perhaps it's not our day.
Yeah, it's one of them. The keeper's had a worldie. That was a great save, and unfortunate for Brody. Obviously we weren't playing our best, but to still get chances like that, it just shows that we can create stuff.
Well, Callum, thanks so much for coming to join us on Match Day Live. Hard lines today, but we look forward to seeing you back here at the Stoke Carras on Tuesday for Leicester City.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Callum. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Callum Doyle, Wrexham left centre-back, kindly coming to give his thoughts from, no doubt, a disappointed Wrexham dressing room after they were beaten by 2-1 today by Norwich City. We can have a look at the other scores from the Championship today. There were some lunchtime kickoffs. Coventry and Ipswich continuing their good form. Ipswich, of course, will become regular foes for Wrexham in the coming weeks because of both the FA Cup and forthcoming league match between these two sides, both of them being played here in North Wales. Millwall also picking up another good win at lunchtime today. And then in the other fixtures today, we can just run through some of those results and get you up to speed with what's happening. Got a bit of an issue with the scores there on screen. We'll come back to that in just one moment. Slight technical glitch there. But Callum Doyle clearly disappointed Mia and quite, I guess, honest about how he felt Wrexham had played in the second half and being short of the standards that they set themselves.
Yeah, and obviously he will be disappointed up against his former club today. I'm sure he would have wanted more out of it, and back at home as well. And he's been someone who's been so impressive. I think over the last few weeks in particular, like I mentioned, that I love that progressive nature of his game. I think that's something that benefits Wrexham immensely. Obviously we see it with Cleworth as well on that other side too. But yeah, you could tell he's super disappointed, but still has that drive again. He knows that they can put it right Tuesday.
And fair play coming out and stepping up and fronting up and going, listen, we're not good enough in that second part of the second half. We've got a game Tuesday, let's go again and get back to where we were in the past 5. We've been brilliant, we've been magnificent. You can have days like today. We had partly of a day really today.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to what we were good at and let's go and look to try and beat Leicester City, which is a huge task because I think they've got beat today as well at Coventry.
Yeah, we just have a look down the results today. Coventry beating Leicester by 2-1. Ipswich beating Blackburn 3-0. Millwall winning 2-0 at Watford. Charlton beating Sheffield United by 1-0. They've struggled for form recently. Oxford and Bristol City all square a stalemate there. Down in Oxfordshire. Derby winning 1-0 at Preston. Portsmouth having a welcome win at beleaguered Sheffield Wednesday. So Norwich not making a huge amount of progress in trying to get away from the bottom 3, with Pompey winning at Hillsborough. Hull beating Southampton, who got into good form for a while. They're now right out of form again. A stalemate at Stoke. Stoke and QPR all square at a goalless draw. Wrexham, of course, beaten here by Norwich by 2-1, and Swansea and Birmingham. The late game is 9 minutes old. No score at the moment down in West Wales. Just from a league position perspective, Wrexham, of course, were pushing hard for the playoffs before kick-off today. They're still right in the mix, a 10th position, 3 points off the playoffs. Preston played 27 points, 43 are 6th. Wrexham 26 and 40 points are in 10th. So nil desperandum, still very much involved in that playoff picture. But yeah, I think today was just a little bit unexpected, Andy, wasn't it, really, from the recent form? And it just shows you yet again, you can never take anything for granted on paper.
And I think it's that expectation that we spoke about literally the first minute of Match Day Live when we came on air was, these are tricky games, these ones. When you take your eye off the ball, it's against a bottom three team that aren't really a bottom three team, let's put it. They're better than that. And they've got better since the new manager's come in. But if you take your eye off it slightly, if you're slightly, not 10% off where you normally have been, then you get beat. And unfortunately, in parts of that game, we weren't at the standards that we were. Really sloppy in our possession, which is very unlike the players that we had on the pitch at the time, and that just leads to you not being able to get that momentum to sustain those attacks, etc., and to go what we've been speaking about and create chances when you're on top, and we just didn't do that.
I think as well you see it quite a lot. I mean, obviously last game being that Forest win, 120 minutes, penalties, what an occasion, and quite emotionally draining. I think it's something when a team does really well in a big game, and then it's almost that sort of come down, in the following one when they're still sort of settling from that. And listen, I'm not saying that was part of what we've seen today, but I think it's always an aspect, and yeah, I think there's maybe just a little bit of maybe fatigue that is just. I know there's been 8 days between that Forest match, but that little long lasting one that just comes a little bit later, sort of delayed fatigue, if you like, and but yeah, like Andy says, I think now it's a really good opportunity. I expect him to maybe change it up a little bit for Tuesday night here, back here against Leicester.
That's an interesting point, Mia, because we always talk, don't we, about the Christmas period being so intense. You're playing every 3 days, but if you get momentum, playing every 3 days can be a good thing. And actually now having
and you feel fine.
8-day break,
body's not a problem.
Yeah, because you've got the adrenaline, you've got the win, and obviously Wrexham have got the squad, and Phil's astute at knowing who to drop in and drop out based on mileage covered and all that good stuff in terms of the statistics. But I just wonder whether there's a bit of that, Mia, which is the 8-day gap, a little bit of the kind of the PR and the excitement that's come from the cup victory, and then a gap, no midweek game, trying to get going again against a struggling side in the league where you're thinking we've just got to get this one done, and they're going to arrive here saying, well, it's a bit of a free hit for us. You've got the informed team in the division that we're travelling to, but we're going to show them we can play. All comes together a bit, perhaps.
Yeah, and that's where certain games like that, when you have that sort of narrative, if you're Norwich, you go in, well, no, it is a bit of a free hit, and that gives them a bit of freedom, and that gives them an extra sort of few inches to stand a bit taller. And yeah, I think it's a really interesting one. I think it's sort of similar to if you have an international break when you're in really good momentum and suddenly it stops, and then it's like, right, okay, we've got to suddenly go again, and you sort of just do lose a bit of that momentum. And I think maybe it's a little bit of a case of that. It probably well, I know for us it felt like a long time since that Forest game, didn't it? And I'm sure that's the same for those players. Obviously they would have been training in the week, of course, but it's like to go from a game pretty much every 2-3 days in which they were in that festive period to then suddenly having those 8, they would have been wanting to get straight back into it. And now again it's about how they change from today and go again Tuesday night and don't carry on the sort of symptoms they were playing with today into Tuesday.
And we've seen Watford today, who were in better form than we were, go to Millwall and get beat. It's this league, we keep saying it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I guess from Phil's perspective, Andy, managerially, he's got to try and pick the right path, I guess, for Tuesday, between saying, well, let's throw everything out and make a load of changes, versus to say, well, actually, I've got a core of a side here that have gone 4 straight wins before today. So the performance might not have been right, but does that necessarily mean personnel changes? Is there just the odd tactical tweak? So this is where, again, the skill of a manager comes in as to what changes you then put in place for Tuesday.
Yeah, well, he'll be thinking, did I pick the right team to start with for this game? Coming off 8 days of no game, did I pick the right team to beat Norwich? I'm sure he'll think he did with the personnel that he had available to him. He will now, I'm sure of it, because he's so 7 out of 10 every week, whether you win or lose, he will go, right, let's just review what happened, what went wrong, but then it's done. It's put to bed by Sunday afternoon maybe, and we go training on Monday with regards to playing on Tuesday night and cracking on with that, and it's completely forgotten.
Yeah, certainly a chance for a reset very quickly with Leicester City coming on Tuesday evening for the next Sky Bet Championship fixture before QPR away, and then Sheffield Wednesday away are the next 2 trips on the road in the coming weeks. Phil's just coming in to join us. Thank you, Phil, very much for coming to join us on Match Day Live. What are your reflections?
Yeah, I think a little bit of a slow start in terms of not switching the play quick enough in the first 10-15 minutes, but then after the goal we got into a good rhythm, and I thought we were very good actually. We created a couple of great chances, we got the goal back, and we looked in complete control of the game. And then second half, the start was superb. You know, Izza was getting in some brilliant positions. We were right on it. Obviously, the medical emergency happened, and we came back out. And I just felt we gave the ball away needlessly, and we needed to reset quicker as a team and get back into our rhythm. And if you give the ball away 4, 5, 6 times at this level, you're going to get punished. And we got punished. And you know, after that, okay, we got ourselves going to a certain degree and had enough moments to have got back in the game. But it was just that period, you know, we needed to reset as a group individually. Someone needed to get on the ball and get us playing and just connect the game again. And we didn't do that, and we got punished for it.
Why do you think the team struggled to find that rhythm after the return following the medical emergency?
It's difficult to say really, because you know, we spoke about what we needed to do. We'd started the half so well. I just think we followed one mistake with another one, and you know, like I said to the lads, when we were 3-1 down against Sheffield United, we didn't let that knock us out of our rhythm. So why did we let a couple of mistakes knock us out of our rhythm? Because that's what we did today. We needed to stand up stronger as individually and just connect the game again, because we were in a nice rhythm leading up to half time. And yeah, so that's the period which obviously proved costly. And I think if you're honest and you have slack moments like that, then inevitably against a team with at this level, you're going to get punished.
Looking over the 90, did you still feel you deserved something from the game?
I mean, they were always dangerous on the break when we were pushing, but we still had some good moments. You know, Broady's chance, the keeper's made an incredible save. Yeah, it wasn't our most fluent performance. There was still some good periods in the game, but I think to win, you have to have longer periods of percentage of the game where you're in a good place as a team. And yeah, we just kind of, you know, had great control. Did they change much? No, they changed the 2 wide players and maybe a bit more diligence in wide areas after the break. But I think it was just our own doing really, that we just were a bit careless with the ball.
The excellent run of wins you had after Christmas came on that rhythm of matches every 3 days. Was there any aspect today, Phil, do you think, to do with the fact that there was 8 days since the Forest game?
No, I think you always can look for reasons why the performance wasn't where it was been, but I think that's just excuses, because you know, really the Friday game, having 2 days off, should have benefited us. And it's not like, you know, you're playing a high-profile cup game and then you turn up and playing a National League team in the league. We're playing Norwich City, who've been a Premiership team. So this game has, you know, got as the same feel as the Notts Forest game had. It's just in that period in the game, I felt we gave Norwich a huge lift. We're just with, you know, careless moments.
A good thing that you've got another chance to have a crack at Leicester on Tuesday night? Yeah,
of course. It's like we need to get back going again. You know, there's a few niggles in there, which there was last week, but we need to get people right and ready for Monday morning training and pick the team which is ready to go again. Listen, we've had a great run. You know, we're in a good position in the league still, and you know, sometimes if you play well and get beat, you just hold your hand up. But today there's that period in the game where I felt we let ourselves down as a group, not getting back into our rhythm quicker. And you know, you kind of, if you make too many of those mistakes, you just know you're going to get punished. And then we got going again, and it was better. Matty came on and helped us get control, and like I say, we so nearly got back in it.
Phil, thank you so much very much for your comments. We'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you. Phil Parkinson, Wrexham manager, honest as ever in his assessment of where his team came up a little bit short today against Norwich City. But as he says, an excellent run for Wrexham in recent weeks. 4 straight wins, of course, before today's defeat to Norwich City. And as we were saying just before, Phil joined us. Still very much in the playoff picture with a heck of a lot of games to still go, starting with Leicester on Tuesday. Mia, you were listening to Phil's thoughts there. Anything stand out for you?
Yeah, I just think it's key, the frustration that you can hear, and obviously he's putting across is the fact that he knows his team is better than that, and that's where the frustration comes in, because he's seen it with his own two eyes. And I think the point he made about the reactions is really key, to those mistakes that were happening in the game, the sloppiness, and he's saying, but that's not us, that's not like us at all, and that's not in our sort of DNA, if you like. He uses Sheffield United as a really good example. I think even Forest is a really good example, conceding a number of times obviously to Forest, and even up against Premier League opposition, not actually sort of buckling at the knees and going, oh well, it's going into extra time, we're sort of done here, but actually going, no, we can still win this, we're going to win this. And like I say, I think that's where just the sort of probably annoyance from his point of view will certainly come across. And yeah, it's one of them. I think he knows that. I agree with him. I don't think it was necessarily a game where either team excelled. I think it was probably managed much better by Norwich, but I don't think they played the best football at times. I don't think it was a case of that, but like he says, it's the perfect opportunity now to go into Tuesday night and put things right.
Yeah, you can sense his disappointment, can't you, from his body language a little bit, of not hitting the standards that we're used to, and like Mir says, letting themselves down a little bit. Really, I'm just pleased because it reiterated what we were saying about those sustained attacks and keeping the ball and being too sloppy with it. He's reiterated that, and I think that'll be the message to them, is that we're miles better than we were in that last 40 minutes. Go away, have your rest, see you Monday. And let's get cracking and let's go and beat Leicester and turn it around. And
I think he points out, the context as well, coming off the back of a great run, and that's great. And listen, you don't forget that either. You celebrate that and you go, well, look at what we've done. But now let's do it again. Let's not just have that as our highlight of the season, if you like. Let's do it again and go into the end of the season.
And you're better off losing a game after a great run than losing another game after losing another game.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's the ability to bounce back ability, as Ian Dowie coined it all those years ago, isn't it? To come back from a setback and then hopefully start another great run on Tuesday. Yeah. When I shall see you both again, back here on Matchday Live. Mia, Andy, thank you as ever. We'll see you for Leicester City on Tuesday night. So Wrexham have, of course, been on a wonderful unbeaten run of late. 4 straight wins in the Sky Bet Championship, propelling them up the table. This afternoon, they faced up to Norwich City, the home of mustard making, the part of the country so well known for one of Britain's strongest tasting condiments. And ultimately, Norwich proved just too hot to handle for Wrexham this afternoon. The unbeaten run, it's over for now, but here's hoping that on Tuesday, another one can start again. Thanks so much for joining us on Matchday Live this afternoon. Diolch am wylio. We'll see you Tuesday night. Bye-bye.